You watch 100 Mile Drive, and today I brought for you 2022 Lexus RX 450h hybrid that has a V6 engine paired to 2 electric motors and combined 308 horsepower. And the biggest question I want to answer today, how does this 2022 RX 450h feel to drive compared to the new Lexus 2023 RX 350h that I recently brought on this channel? How do two stack up against each other? I know you guys, many of you asked me in the comments, so well, there it is. Let's find out. And if you're watching 100 Mile Drive for the first time, well, this is the channel where I say before you buy a car like this, make sure to rent it for a day and drive it for at least 50 to 100 miles on city streets, highway, and twisty roads to be able to answer the biggest question I'm answering on this channel is how does it feel to drive? And by the way, a spoiler alert, this one feels very different compared to the new one. And if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Help me get to the 1,000 subscribers. I'm almost there, so I really appreciate your support. All right, and now very quick walk around of this Lexus RX 450h. Now, if you remember when 2023 RX 350 was announced, we first were kind of even horrified by its front grille, and we said, no, this older one looks so much better. But after seeing the new one in person, I'm one of those people who changed my mind, and I say the new one, I like the new one more now. Now, this model comes with the F Sport trim. Nevertheless, it has very big, comfortable tires. They're 235/55 R20, so they're very comfortable despite, you know, having an F Sport trim. Now, my car here is missing a little piece, which I didn't know about. I rented it on Turo, and they didn't tell me in advance, but you know, that's not going to affect our driving dynamics, so we're going to continue with this review. Overall, this Lexus looks nice. As we know, it's one of the best-selling SUVs on the market, and the people who buy these, they keep them for years. Now, I also love the new rear of the RX 350. I think it looks great, and also with all the new colors, especially copper crest color, I think the new RX 350 looks just fantastic. And even this one, I mean, if you buy this Lexus, it still looks great, and I think it's gonna look good for years to come. Now, I definitely love these traditional handles compared to the new one, where I complain about them a little bit. Still not a fan of this door handles with the button. We spent a whole day yesterday with this car, and we found here and there issues with it. It's just, you know, getting used to it will take time. I love this. And let's do a quick door sound check. It's, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty heavy. Overall, this car does feel solid. All right, door sound check passed. Let's get on the inside. All right, and now we're getting on the inside. Now look at all these details that this door has. I kind of like this design language on these old Lexus, all these chrome finishes. Look at this handle, all these inserts, and even look at this. It's all kind of chrome finish. I mean, some people might not be fan, but I think they did a fantastic job in terms of like quality overall. So closing this door. All right, starting this Lexus. And overall, the materials are pretty nice. I mean, this is hard plastic, but it looks good. Everything is molded pretty well. Yeah, this is pretty good. Nothing should rattle as such. I did find a little rattle here. It's not a rattle, like a little crick. It might rattle later on, but still, everything is very nicely molded. The materials are top notch. I mean, whatever we touch, this is a hard plastic. So overall, the quality is pretty good. I mean, this is what we expect from Lexus. The best materials are these red colored materials. They're soft touch. And look at these seats. My God, these seats are so comfortable. They're very comfortable, more comfortable than the new one for sure. Now, while I find it's a little busy now, and it does look maybe a little bit outdated, except the clock. I love the clock. The new one, they just slammed the screen in the middle, and then it kind of like solved everything, right? Everything is in the screen. I mean, look how much detail there is here. So some people definitely still gonna like this over the new one. I'm okay with the new one, but I wish they did a little bit of balance between the screen and add maybe some buttons, especially, you know, this is the changing the modes I complain about on the new one. Kind of like this. Overall, everything is top-notch quality. Now let's go ahead and drive it. And first, I'm gonna drive Lexus RX 450h in the city, and we're gonna start with acceleration. So I'm gonna put the car in the Sport Plus mode, Sport S Plus, and let's floor it. All right, let's go. All right, it's a V6 engine. I can hear that it has a bit more mature growl, this V6, and overall it's not bad. It certainly has a kick to it. One thing, this, I believe officially it's around 7.8 seconds. It's kind of on the slower side versus a new RX 350h around 7.4 seconds. Well, one reason being is that because by the time you hit the gas pedal and this car starts moving, you have to wait till the suspension responds, because it's a very soft suspension, and then, you know, all the systems engage and then it starts moving. So that kind of low end torque is not that, you know, fast. So let's do it again. Flooring, and off we go. So this initial takeoff, you know, has a time, a little delayed time, and that's due to the, like I said, suspension and the whole hybrid system set up this way. Overall it moves, it's not bad. Compared to the RX 350h, this car sounds a little bit more mature, like I said, because of a V6 engine mostly. The new one sounds a little drony, although it moves pretty well, and maybe I could say it does move a little quicker, just the way the transmission responds there, and the whole hybrid system kind of feels a little different in the new one. It kind of tuned a little bit to give you that jerk, initial like quick acceleration to it. So I'm gonna put it in the sport mode, sport drive, and let's go ahead and try it. All right, let's go. And you can hear that CVT transmission making the drony sound. Overall, not bad, I would say. Obviously, we're here. It's set up more just to be calm, quiet, you know. Even though this car, I mean, imagine, it has a 308 horsepower. We used to have days when V8 engines had this much power, but it's set up in a way just to, you know, just to be paired with those two electric motors to give you that, you know, comfortable acceleration, comfortable drive, you know, still address fuel economy more than acceleration, and that's what I can see in this car. So overall, how does this Lexus feel to drive compared to the new one? Let's discuss this. I'm gonna put it in normal mode. This car has completely different DNA than the new one. This older Lexus has a much lighter steering, way lighter steering than the new one. It has a very soft suspension, like soft boat-like suspension. This car feels like boat, and I can see these legacy Lexus customers, right? They love this car because all they care about is these super comfortable seats that I'm sitting in. Just to be in these comfortable seats, you know, just have a fairly good sound installation, and then just chill, whether you are alone, with your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your entire family. Even the rear seats are very comfortable. All of you are very comfortable. You have your AC on if it's you know, hot. You put your Mark Levinson system that this car has, and you just relax, you just chill. And that's what this Lexus is about. It's a boat, okay? All it is a boat. I'm gonna talk about suspension and its how safe this platform overall at the little higher speeds. We're gonna get to that as well. But overall, this is what the philosophy of this legacy Lexus is. And my dad has a ES 350 Lexus, and he had them for years, and it has the same kind of feel. It's not about, you know, aggressive driving. It's not about like fast acceleration. It's about comfort and being in a quiet space, in a luxurious space where you have comfortable materials. That's what the DNA, this Lexus DNA, is about. So now we touched first on the acceleration. Like I said, it doesn't feel fast, it doesn't feel super slow, it's adequate. The brakes kind of okay, but the biggest issue of this platform is the fact that it has a lot of these rolling motions. Whether if we're accelerating, there's a, you know, slight rolling motion backward. If we are braking, there's a rolling motion forward. If we are turning, now look at these steering. I mean, the car is just like dancing. There's a lot of body leaning. It's all kind of designed, we know why. It's designed to comfort, this boat-like comfort in this car. That's why everything is geared in this car to offer that. So now, if this is what you like, then you may want to buy this and keep it for years to come, because the new Lexus RX 350h is completely different. It's much more stable. It's much more European-like, I would say, with better acceleration in the gasoline-only powered version. That even the hybrid is pretty adequate, I would say. But steering it's completely different in the new Lexus. It has a much shorter turn radius compared to this one. This requires a lot more steering input to get things, you know, going, versus a new one. New one, basically, when you steer, there's slight body lean, but then the body moves with it. Where this one, there's a lot of like carrying the body. There's a lot of like leaning into this, you know, side, whatever the side you're steering to. So you kind of want to take things easy, take things on a slower side with this Lexus. Don't get me wrong, you can drive it aggressively if you want, but it's just not gonna look right. Now let me go ahead and drive it on the bumpy roads. We can talk about more the suspension, how it reacts to all the, you know, bumps and potholes. Alright, and now driving Lexus RX 450h on my favorite Tampa Avenue. This is where I get to test suspension. And how does this car feel to drive on these roads? Well, here's the recipe for this Lexus. Basically, being a comfortable suspension, very soft suspension with bigger tires, which are also comfortable tires. It basically handles all these imperfections with the suspension setup. Now, when it actually hits the pothole or bigger bumps, it doesn't have any sophistication. It just kind of reacts, you know, in a very, you know, straight, you know, hitting kind of, the surface way. There's no gliding motion that kind of expect, you know, in the more premium cars. But nevertheless, the new Lexus platform is much more collected, much more stable. Although, like I said, it is still very comfortable, but it does everything, like this does everything boat-like, that one does everything car-like. There's also no real sophistication in new Lexus, but it just feels a little nicer, kind of. It feels a little bit more upscale, okay, in terms of a driving feel, driving dynamics. This feels more like a, you know, traditional way of doing things, maybe the older way kind of doing things, just keeping a very soft suspension, and just basically having the, you know, damping in the older way, where your soft suspension and bigger tires kind of take care of, you know, all these imperfections. That's exactly how this Lexus is set up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and jump into these local neighborhoods, just to kind of see what is it like to steer this Lexus, you know, when we want to drive around. I mean, it's very easy to steer it, let's be honest with you. The steering is on the, like I already said, on the lighter side. I can't even call it loose. Why loose? Because, like I said, it requires a lot more steering input to get things done, to like turn, and also when you turn, the suspension feels a little wobbly. The car is stable. The car is still stable, but the whole response to it, you know, the whole chassis kind of moves with it. It doesn't move. It moves side to side, but there's a lot of body motion that's happening here, and that's just how this car's set up. That's just how it's set up to cater to that boat-like feeling. Overall, I mean, it's easy to drive. It's a tall SUV platform. The braking, overall adequate, but, you know, yeah, it works. I mean, it's just the way car is geared. That's just the way car is set up. So nothing is done very quick. Nothing is done very abrupt. Everything you want to do in kind of like that smooth, slow driving style. See, even I did a little turn, you know, I pressed on the gas a little quicker than I should have probably, and then all of a sudden I had a wheel spin there. So this car kind of tells me that no, I'm not for aggressive driving, no, I'm not for fast driving. And then you'll see it, like let's say if you're running late to pick up your kids from school and you decide to go a little faster, you'll notice it in your acceleration, in your braking, in all the turns you're gonna make. You'll notice how it's hesitant to do all these things. It's gonna do it, but it's not designed to be driven aggressively. All right, now let's drive it on a highway. And now driving Lexus RX 450h on the highway. I'm gonna go ahead and merge the highway here. And let's see, I'm gonna keep the car in a normal mode. We don't have to put it in sports mode. All right, let's come to the light, and now we're gonna floor it here. All right, let's go. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time, but then it moves. It almost feels like it's kind of bothered, like why we are doing this, like why do we have to go so fast? All right, so the first thing we want to see on the highway is a sound insulation. And overall, I mean, this is the territory of Lexus. It's just being a cruiser, just literally cruising along, whether you're, you know, just going to work, back home, picking up kids from school, just cruising in this car, and it's so nice doing that. Now, the sound insulation is not bad. I do hear though noise from tires, although these are not any kind of you know, low profile tires. Let's see, so what we are reading is around 65. That's not bad actually. 60, yeah, 66. No, 66. It's around 66. So it's pretty good sound insulation. I don't hear cars around me. All I hear is just the road noise, some tire noise, and that's pretty much it. And this is where Lexus lives, is just being on the road, just flowing like a boat on a highway or even in the city, but basically, you know, doing your day-to-day business in a very comfortable, quiet cabin. The next thing I want to quickly do is just to see if this car can overtake other cars. Like, do we have enough mid-range power? And yeah, while, you know, it makes all the noise, it's still less noise than the new RX 350h. But overall, it has adequate power to do this. Let's try this here. Yeah, it doesn't struggle. It just, you know, the CVT transmission kind of kicks in, and then you hear a little bit of that drony sound, but it's not as bad as the 4-cylinder. The 4-cylinder sounds a little louder, so this sounds a little more mature. Like I said, it's a V6 engine, so that's the biggest difference. But overall, it has the means to do it, although I cannot say this is a 308 horsepower. It feels maybe something like 200 and, I don't know, 40, 50 horsepower. Kind of, for 308 horsepower, somehow I feel like it should be faster. Maybe again, I cannot argue with this because the philosophy of this Lexus is different. We should not forget, this car is designed for comfort, for slow driving, for boat-like driving, and it 100% delivers on that. Let me be honest with it. All right, so now let's go ahead and drive it on the canyon road so we can discuss its platform, put it a little bit to the stress. Let's do it. And now time has come to drive Lexus RX 450h on the canyon roads to see how its chassis is. All right, I'm gonna put it in Sport S Plus mode, and let's go. All right, we're moving. Okay, we're gonna take some turns just to kind of discuss, nothing crazy, discuss how this chassis is, like how stable it is for being this, you know, comfortable suspension and kind of steering on the lighter side. And the first corner, and all right, let's see here. I already drove it here, but well, yeah, immediately you can see that this car at a little faster speed will start losing traction. You know, the body kind of shifts left and right, and as you take corners, you can immediately see the limit of this car It definitely does not inspire any confidence. While Lexus tries, to do its best to, with all the traction control and all that, make sure if it slips, it does it in predictable way. But overall, it hesitates to take corners, and it can easily lose control. Yeah. So what I can tell, not even driving it fast or aggressively, I can tell that this car basically is hesitant at higher speeds. And if you have a dangerous situation in front of you, quite honestly, I don't even know how it will behave. Like what will happen? Like, let's say if somebody breaks in front of you and then you have to quickly overtake, I don't know where you're gonna end up with this car. The new Lexus RX, I drove it here and I kind of mentioned how confident I felt about it, and that they completely reworked the chassis. Now this Lexus is a legacy platform that is not designed for dangerous situations at all. Braking is kind of okay, a little delayed, but now I can't even slow down more, just not to put this car too much to the stress, because it's clearly not designed for that. So I'm kind of happy. I'm happy that Lexus switched gears, and then finally brought us a new chassis with a much better steering, much better inputs, a much more stable platform to be able to address things like this. Like, this is by no means fun. Not only it's not fun to drive, it kind of shows me that this platform is not capable of any kind of dangerous obstacles in front of you. It'll literally can spin out. It can, I don't know about flipping, if it flips or not, but it certainly slides so easily. Like, I don't have to put any efforts. So that's why, guys, bring your car to the canyon roads, because that's where you can read all the actual inputs from this car. You can read the inputs from steering, and you can read the inputs from, of course, acceleration, and most importantly, chassis, most importantly, suspension, to see what the suspension is capable of. And this car pretty much tells me that it is not designed for speed, for aggressive driving. It's basically very hesitant to do all of that. So I'm happy that they're bringing that new platform that literally addressed all these at their core, while still keeping the car comfortable. So that's all I wanted to show you guys, and now let me quickly summarize it. All right, there you have it, guys. I just finished driving 2022 Lexus RX 450h Hybrid, and here's the conclusion. Well, this is the car that is literally designed just for comfort alone, and the best way I could describe it is a boat-like feeling. That's how it feels to drive. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people who prefer this kind of driving setup, where everything is super comfortable, super soft, super relaxed, with a nice quiet cabin, luxurious cabin, and that's what this particular Lexus is delivering. But on the other hand, the new 2023 Lexus RX 350h, and I'm pretty sure RX 500h that I will bring to this channel as well, that's where they switched things up. They brought a new platform which is much more stable, that has a much better steering, much more car-like compared to this. And I truly enjoyed driving the new generation of Lexus RX. While we kind of lost there a little bit maybe in the comfort department compared to this particular car, it is still very comfortable, but this is different. Okay, this type of comfort feels different in this car. It feels like I said, like a boat, like a couch, where the other one is very comfortable, but it's still more collected, more driver focus. So while we lost maybe a little bit in the comfort department, we definitely gained in the driving department, as a new RX became a much better driving car in terms of driving dynamics, and I'm pretty happy about that. So I hope this makes sense. I hope it's clear the difference between the two cars. And personally, I would get the new one, but if you ever see me driving this one, then that was not my personal choice. But if we ever get Lexus, but I'm hoping we'll get a new one. And like I said, I'll bring the RX 500h as well, as I'm very curious about that car too. And if you did like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and let me know if you have any questions about this RX or any other Lexuses that I already drove on this channel. Now, while I only have some 750 plus subscribers, I already had more than 50,000 views on these Lexus videos. So I see there's a lot of interest in these type of cars, and I'm happy to review them and you know, compare them and tell you how they feel to drive. Talk to you soon, guys.